Amy, I am Sarah, and I am just appreciative that you agreed to sit down and do this assignment with me. As you know, I am not a licensed LPC, but if we uncover anything within this session that I do feel like, or you feel like we need to maybe proceed with that route, I would be more than happy to help you get set up with that. As you already know, I've changed your name just for confidentiality reasons. Confidentiality is limited. This video, although you're not in view, is still going to be reviewed by one of my professors, and then a transcript is written and some of the students will be seeing it. Just a limited portion, but still some of the transcript will be seen.
Okay, sure.
Okay. And are you okay with all that?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay. So before we start, are there any questions or concerns that you have about the session or about confidentiality or any of that?
No, I don't think I have any questions. You told me that a professor would review it, and other than that, it would be confidential. So I'm okay with that.
All right, well, I think we're good to start. So what's some of your concerns today?
Well, I am currently in a school program, and I'm having trouble staying on top of my assignments. And really what the issue is that I procrastinate until the last minute that an assignment is due, and then I will work really hard and get that assignment done, and then I'll turn it in, and once that's turned in, I waited so late to the due date that I want a break for a few days, but since I've waited, there's a whole new round of assignments that are coming due, and I'm not mentally ready to start those assignments yet because I've waited so long on the other assignments, and it's just a cycle. So then I procrastinate on the new assignments and wait until the due date for those, and then it just starts all over again. So I'm constantly stressed knowing that I have assignments that are due, and if any little thing came up, say I have the internet goes out, or an appointment comes up, or I have to take my kids somewhere, then I won't be able to complete those, and I know that in the back of my mind, and that adds to my stress. But I can't make myself work ahead and get those assignments done early enough to be able to relax before they're due.
Okay, so I hear that you're very self-aware of what's going on. So
I know the problem, I just can't fix the problem.
Okay. Well, that's a really good step that you're already really aware of what's going on. I sense that you probably feel very stressed. This is probably really difficult for you, the stress that comes along with this. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're going to school for?
I'm going to school for school librarianship.
Oh, okay. Is there any particular reason why you went with that path?
I've been a teacher for about 10 years, and I just looking to change, like stay in my field, but just do something a little bit different. I just feel like it's a little bit monotonous after 10 years.
Okay, so is this librarian position that you're working towards, is this something that you've wanted for a while, or something that you think that you'll really enjoy this job change?
I have thought about it for a while. I've considered it probably for the last 5 years, just kind of not really seriously, but it's been in the back of my mind considering it. And when I saw there was a program that I could do while working as a teacher full-time, I just thought it would be a good opportunity for me. But now that I'm in it, it's really overwhelming, and I'm trying to do it quickly to save, time and money. So I am doing it full-time, and so it's just a lot at once.
Okay. Well, it sounds like that it's kind of exciting, though, to have that future possibility of switching careers into something that maybe you're a little bit more passionate about, would you say?
Yes, yeah, the thought of it really excites me, and I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Okay, well, sounds like there's some good resources there, some positivity in the future, but sometimes that's not always, there at the forefront, when you're facing this procrastination or this cycle of procrastination that you have going on. can you kind of explain to me a little bit what's going on maybe in your mind or in your body when you're having to face that assignment and you know that you've been procrastinating, kind of what you're feeling there?
Sure. So when I know I have an assignment due, like say it's an evening and I know that I could work on this assignment, I feel almost just like I can't even think about it. Like, and if I start to think about it, then my face will get flushed, like my stomach will start to hurt. I'll just feel really overwhelmed. I'm not sure where to start. Even if I do sit down and look at the instructions or look at the assignment, I'll find myself just giving myself any reason to not do it, like doing housework or some other task or something. Like any reason that gets me out of doing it, I will let myself do the other thing instead. And again, like if I start to look at the instructions for the assignment, I'll just find myself getting really overwhelmed and not knowing where to start with the assignment.
So I'm hearing that just looking into the assignment, trying to prep for the assignment, that already starts that concern, that feelings of anxiousness, even prepping for the assignment.
Right.
Okay. All right. So are there ever times that you do prep for the assignment and don't finish the assignment, or does that anxiety continue throughout the whole process of looking at what the requirements are for the assignment, prepping for it, and then actually proceeding on to the assignment?
The times that I have looked ahead at an assignment, I will look at the tasks that I have to do, and sometimes in the moment I'll be like, oh yeah, I can do this, like it's no big deal, I can do this, and that leads to the procrastination, because then I think, okay, well it's not that big of a deal, I can get it done.
Okay.
And I will procrastinate until I just have barely enough time to get it done, and then I can focus. When I know that it's, due that evening or the next day, I can focus somehow, but I want to be able to focus prior to that.
I hear what you're saying, and that is probably frustrating because you want one thing, you have an expectation of yourself, but then you're not really fulfilling that expectation, which probably puts even more pressure on you.
It does, and I never feel like I'm fully able to relax because it's always in the back of my mind, instead of just doing it, getting it done, and then having a few days before I have to think about the next week's content.
Okay, so I just want to kind of clarify. So do you feel that whenever you start an assignment or you go to prep for an assignment, you see what the requirements are, that there's times that maybe you get overwhelmed by the assignment details and it causes procrastination, but then also whenever you see assignment details that are easy, that also prompts procrastination? Is that correct?
That's correct. It's
Okay.
almost like no matter what, I'm going to procrastinate.
Okay. So you've kind of just gotten to know yourself that if it's overwhelming, you may not do it. But if it's easier for you, you still may procrastinate that.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So maybe neither of those options are really something that's going to encourage you to get it done sooner, because either way you're going to be either overwhelmed or put it off because it's easy.
Yes.
Okay. So kind of tell me, in those times of procrastination, what are you doing?
Well, either doing other things around the house that I have to do, like laundry. I have to have clothes to wear, have to keep the basic things of the house clean, dishes, etc. Or I'm paralyzed and just like watching TV or scrolling TikTok.
Okay. Explain when you say you're paralyzed, what kind of go into a little bit more detail. What exactly does that mean to you?
Well, it feels like I can't really focus on anything. So even if, say, I am scrolling TikTok or watching TV, I'm not really absorbing anything. I'm just kind of sitting there, not really, like, not being productive in any way. Like, I don't really know how to describe it.
Okay. In those moments, is that procrastination or awareness of procrastination, is it still kind of present in
It is, because
Okay.
I feel very guilty sitting
Okay.
there knowing that I should be doing work, but I just try to ignore it instead.
do you feel like possibly when you're in these times of, you know, being paralyzed, that it could be a way of you trying to separate yourself from the guilt in order to maybe enjoy time?
Yes, that makes sense. Yes, so that I'm trying to just forget that I have something that I'm procrastinating doing,
Okay.
and instead, but I'm also not being productive in any other way.
Okay. So it sounds like in the situation, you know, there's guilt and there's anxiety surrounding, you know, putting it off, but also starting it. But in that downtime, you're not necessarily always doing things that are unproductive. I mean, sometimes you are putting time and effort into things that need to be done.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The things that I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily, it's mostly just tasks that have to be done.
Okay. Well, thinking about starting your assignments, you know, we've discussed that prompts anxiety.
Yes.
Has there ever been a time that you have started an assignment on time and finished it on time?
Yeah, I mean, yes, a
Okay.
couple times, and that's how I know that's what I want to do.
Okay.
It's because it feels amazing to get something done ahead of time.
Did you notice either a routine or an environment or something that led up to that time that allowed you to start and finish on time?
You know, thinking of one assignment in particular, it was an assignment that I did look at the instructions early, and I felt confident in it. And the house was kind of quiet, and I just kind of got started on it.
Okay.
Instead of just thinking like, oh, okay, this is easy, like I'll be able to do this, no problem. I just kind of got started, and once I got started, I had momentum and was able to finish most of it that afternoon.
Okay, so it seems like maybe in that situation, instead of overwhelming yourself with, hey, I'm going to do this assignment, you just kind of eased your way into it. You
Yes.
got started. You maybe looked at it and thought, hey, I can do this, and just slowly eased your way into it. Does that sound accurate?
Right.
Or
I didn't pressure myself to complete the whole thing that day. I just started what felt easy.
Okay. Do you think that same process could be applied to some of your other assignments, either the ones that are easier or ones that are a little bit more difficult? Maybe instead of looking at them as these challenges or super easy and we can put them off, maybe just a simple 1 or 2 step process just to ease you into those assignments. Do you think that that's something that could possibly work for you?
Yeah, what do you mean by the step process?
So let's say, like, what is some of the process that you go through? Let's say you're at home or wherever you do your schoolwork at, and you go to sit down, or even prior to that, like let's say you're just cognitive about, I need to start my schoolwork. What is those steps that you take to start?
Usually I will get my bag and pull my laptop out and decide which. Usually I'll just start by opening up Blackboard and just looking at my classes, looking at discussion posts from the last week to see if there's any replies I need to make. And then I will look at what assignment is about like what is the next assignment that's going to be due.
Okay, so you already have some steps that you take. You know, maybe an area where you're going to be studying.
Okay.
You have that little process of turning on your laptop. You log in. You look at maybe things that might need to be done. Do you think that looking at things that need to possibly be done prior to starting that assignment could cause you to not want to proceed? Do you ever find that that kind of deters you from starting?
Yeah, I guess when you put it that way, it does.
Okay. So once you look at those assignments and then you start looking at, you know, what's this next assignment? What do I need to do? What if you broke that up instead of looking at those assignments that need to be done or discussions that need to be reviewed? Let's say you just make time to only look at those discussions that might need to be responded to.
Okay.
That way you're not overwhelming yourself. So
Right.
you get on and you're not worried about, oh, I need to look at these discussions and then I also have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just say, you know, at this moment I want to go and look at these discussions. And then later have like a time where you say, or let's say which one is taking precedence, which one is more important at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you do have an assignment that you know is coming up, hey, let's just log on. Let's just look at what needs to be done with this assignment and maybe make an outline of what resources do I need, what's expected of the assignment. Sometimes just starting those steps, like you mentioned, will help ease you into actually doing the assignment. Before you know it, you're like, you know what, I'm already here getting this information. Let me just keep going a little bit further.
Right, yeah.
And it seemed like that was something that you mentioned
Yes.
that had done before. It felt
If
easier.
I can just get over the hurdle of
Mhm.
starting and sitting down and getting focused, then I'm more likely to complete something or at least get started on something.
Okay. If you had some goals for this therapy session, what would you feel like your goal would be?
I really want to start establishing a specific time every evening that I devote to working on assignments, even if that's right when I get home, an hour, maybe even just say like as soon as I get home, just 1 hour, as much
Okay.
as I can do in 1 hour. I also really need some accountability for
Okay.
that.
Okay. So I think a ultimate goal is obviously finishing your class or finishing all your classes, finishing your program.
Right.
So we have that resource of that excitement of having that done and,
Yes.
you know, and the
yes.
passion, excitement
Mhm.
of entering that new career. So that's something that we can use as a resource to kind of drive you into that, help you to remember or remind you of that. And then also, you know, you kind of sound like you've already got some plans in place of, hey, I want to start doing at least an hour. Did you say a day or a week?
An hour on weekdays.
On weekdays, an hour on weekdays, and then also, what was the other goal that you
I
had?
need some accountability.
Accountability. Sorry, I usually write things down because sometimes I kind of forget.
Yeah, that's okay.
But I don't have that
That's
with me.
okay.
But I think that we can probably help you try to get some concrete steps or a plan to get to those goals on the going and doing an hour of school weekly. What has kept you from doing that now?
Well, usually I get home and honestly it's just pure laziness. Like I'm just like, oh, I'm tired from being at work. I just deserve to sit down and
Mhm.
relax for a little bit. And then once I sit down, I am more reluctant to get back up again because I'm just kind of like decompressed from the day, and so then I just feel, I guess, out of the zone of trying to get like being productive.
So do you relate you coming home? I mean, you have worked all day. You
Mhm.
come home and you're trying to rest a little bit. Do you relate that resting because you're not able to put that time into your schoolwork as laziness? Or is it just because you feel like you're not being as productive in that time?
Can you repeat that?
So whenever you come home, you had said that you felt like the reason you weren't doing it now was because it was just mostly laziness. But it does sound like you're working all day. Well, and your previous job is, or your current job is teaching. So I'm sure that's emotionally, physically draining. So you come home and understandably you're tired. But you said the reason you haven't been doing it is mostly because of laziness. Do you think that maybe your body does need a little bit of rest before you start?
I do feel really kind of overstimulated at the end of the day, and I do really value just like having some quiet time after school.
And that makes sense, because it can be hard to enter into something that's going to be equally as draining, like your schoolwork, if you're coming in drained.
Right.
So, do you think that you mentioned that it's hard for you to, once you get home, to go rest and then start again and then transition?
Being productive.
Do you think that there's another time that you could do I know it's limited. Do you think there's another time you could do your schoolwork, or do you think that maybe you could start like a rest and then start a transition process into the schoolwork? Maybe letting yourself know, hey, this is what we're going to do, or do you think that would work for you?
Yeah, maybe if I came home and gave myself maybe 30 minutes to completely decompress, maybe go for a walk outside or just sit on the couch or whatever, and then plan to try to start by 4:30.
Okay.
And if I get home around 4, plan to try to get ready to work at 4:30.
That sounds like a good amount of time, because it does allow you time to decompress a little bit, but also you're not extending it out too long where hopefully you would still have some motivation left from the day, especially if your downtime is, like you said, taking a walk, keeping moving, but still allowing your mind to rest a little bit. So we can kind of wrap it up just a little bit, but I'd still like to kind of go over some homework details for you. If you're open to some homework, I think what you suggested about doing the 30 minutes prior to starting your homework on the weekdays, coming home, taking that 30 minutes, and then starting your homework, I think that's a really, really good step in working towards that. So this week, even if you can't do it every day, I'd like for you to kind of keep a journal of the days that you do the 30 minutes when you get home. And just kind of know how that turns out for you. And then on accountability, I know we didn't really get to address that, but in the meantime, maybe start kind of brainstorming on, maybe you have colleagues or fellow students that you could reach out to during this next week and see if they are also looking for something like that. And maybe we could discuss that again.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Well, do you have any further questions or concerns?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, it was great doing this session with you.
Yeah, thank you.